through some of these questions, but if you would just talk a little bit about what classes are offered, or what does the Nash Women's Center offer in terms of classes, and what are the primary topics that are covered?
Classes that are offered right now at Nash Women's Center are breastfeeding classes that will be at the end of September and then the end of each month thereafter. And we do a series of 4 prenatal care classes. That includes lots of information about labor, about pain management, about some of the options we have at Nash. Different questions people might have about pregnancy, about nutrition in pregnancy, a little bit about breastfeeding, some about postpartum care, all kinds of questions that you can ask me, we'll talk about and discuss in class.
So tell me a little bit about nutrition and what someone will learn about, how to care about themselves and their baby as they're going through their pregnancy.
So when you're pregnant, lots of women want to eat a whole lot because they're really, really hungry. So we'll talk about some of the things in nutrition that can be better choices, different choices that'll get you proteins and some of the different vitamins and minerals that you'll need to help you grow your baby and be really, really healthy throughout your pregnancy.
Super. Looking at some of these questions, I think a lot of pregnant women have, if they haven't had a baby before, they're anxious. And so they might have questions about, when are they going to know that they're in labor?
Sure.
What are some signs?
So the best way to relieve anxiety is to educate yourself. It's to learn as much as you possibly can about the whole process of labor, the beginning of labor, when it's kind of in the early stages and what to expect. And then as each part of labor comes along, you'll recognize it exactly for what it is. And that's what we'll cover in the classes. We'll make sure that you understand what each part of labor is so that as you experience that, you'll be able to recognize it for what it is and then know to expect the next stage of labor as it comes. We try and answer any sort of question that you might have in our prenatal classes because there's no question that needs to go unanswered. I have labored a few times, and I understand some of those anxieties of not knowing exactly what to expect. So I hope that our classes will be that. There'll be a lot of information that we can share to help relieve some of those anxieties so that people know what they can look forward to.
I think that along with, not knowing what to expect, people might be fearful of the pain and what might be available to them. So if you could explain a little bit about, what people learn about as far as their options with labor and managing pain.
So in our classes, we'll talk about comfort measures. There are some people who choose not to have any sort of medicine for pain management at all through their labor, and that's completely up to them. We'll talk about comfort measures and what you and your partner and your coaches can do to help you get through the whole labor process in the way that you choose. There are some people who choose to have medicines. Some of them choose to have medicines through their IV. Some of them choose to have medicines by way of an epidural. We do have 24-hour anesthesia. We're really proud of that service that we have and that we can offer our patients. And a lot of our patients take advantage of that service. All of that information is discussed in our classes. We'll learn all about it, the risks to each type of decision that you're going to make about your pain management, the risk for each one of those pain management specifically, but then a lot of the benefits that they can help you cope with labor. Did that make any sense?
It does.
Okay.
Definitely. What is the difference between true labor and false labor?
Ooh, that's a good question. And that's a hard question to answer. So the American College of OBGYN currently defines active labor as 6 centimeters dilated. But there's a whole lot that our bodies go through from being not dilated at all the way up to 6 centimeters dilated. A lot of that is early labor. That part that's the easiest part of labor, but the longest part of labor. It is often hard to tell whether this is false labor or my body's way of getting ready for labor versus early labor. I think the only way to know for sure is to be the person who knows your body, watch what your body is doing, and then with the help of your nurse or your doctor, they'll decide by checking your cervix and finding out exactly how far dilated you are, whether it's time for you to come and be admitted to the hospital for labor, and let us help you in that process. That's a hard question.
Yeah. Let's see. How can I tell if my water is broken?
How can you tell if your water's broken? Some people will experience a trickle, just a little trickle that seems a little bit odd to them. Some people will have that big gush that you see on TV where mom says, "Whoa, my water broke." Sometimes it's hard to tell, and the only way for us to determine 100% if your water is broken is for you to come in and see us. We've got a couple of different methods, 2 or 3 of them, that we can test, that we can perform to determine whether your water is broken, and that's really the only way to know for sure. But if you're at home and you notice that you're having some leaking of what you think might be a watery type discharge, then maybe put on a pad and see if that discharge continues. If it does, it might be a good time to come and see us.
I know it's important to have family and support people as part of the planning process, and then also during the birth. Can you speak a little bit about the involvement and the role of a support person?
Sure. We absolutely want your support people to be with you while you're in labor. They are the people who can help you cope with all the things that your body's going through and the excitement of this journey, this adventure that you're on, having this new little one. So we definitely want them there with you. For your safety, we would like you to have 3 members that you choose to be the members of your support team. Those people who are really going to help you. Now, they're not the ones who are just there to visit. They're not the ones who really just want to see what's going on. They're the ones who are going to be involved in this whole process for you. The ones who are going to help you cope when you're scared, help you cope when you're feeling pain and that sort of thing. So we would welcome you to have any 3 of those kind of people that you would like with you through your whole labor process. Once you've delivered, everybody wants to see that baby, and we welcome all of them to come and see. You can have however many visitors you'd like to have come and see you at the hospital, and they can stay pretty much the whole time you're there. We have a few quiet hours in the afternoon. Sometimes being a new mom can be pretty tiring. You've got a baby that requires a whole lot of activity from you. And so our hospital does have quiet hours from 2 to 3 in the afternoon. And we set those hours just so that moms and babies and other patients in our hospital, but especially moms and babies, can get a bit of a break in the afternoon. The nurses and the doctors will try and stay away for that period of time if they can. Housekeeping in the laboratory, everybody will try and stay out of your room if they possibly can, so that you're able to have a bit of a rest during those hours. And it might be a good idea to pass that information along to your visitors as well, so that everybody can give you a little bit of a break to get a nap.
Do the classes cover how to care for your new baby? So many new parents, the joke is that, there's no user manual that comes with the baby. So,
right, for sure.
What do the classes do to help ease those concerns as far as knowing what to do once the baby gets there?
We cover a little bit of new baby care in our classes. We do spend a lot of time on labor and that whole process just because people have a lot of questions during that time about labor. But we do cover a little bit of baby care just kind of at the end of our classes before we tour the facility. What we would like to do is offer some classes as they get more developed, an entire class for people to come and learn more about new baby care and how to take care of that fresh little one. But at this point, we just hit a little bit of that information at the end of our prenatal classes.
Okay. I know you mentioned the other night about show and tell, and which I thought was kind of a fun idea. So talk a little bit about your plans for inviting people back for show and tell after they've taken the classes.
Okay, so each of the participants in our class fill out an envelope with their name on it and their address on it so that after, when the classes are all finished and after everyone from their class has delivered, we can have sort of a get-together, just a nice, easy night. Not so structured, not like the classes are. We're not going to be learning anything in those classes, but it's just a time for everybody to come back and bring their babies. And during one of our first classes, one of the dads said that he thought it sounded like show and tell, and I thought that sounded like a really good way to describe it. So show and tell, come on back and we'll have maybe some light snacks, just a chance for everybody to come back, bring their baby with them and kind of tell their story, how they enjoyed their process and what was their favorite thing about labor, that sort of thing.
Great. So how do people learn about the classes, or how do they sign up? What's involved? What's the cost? How frequently are the classes going to be offered?
Okay, so our patients at Nash Women's Center come from both health departments, which one is downtown Rocky Mount, one is in Nashville. And then we also have two physicians' practices here in the city, Nash OBGYN that sees OB patients and Englewood OBGYN. So our patients for those classes pretty much come from those offices, any of those places that provide obstetric care. And all of those places have a registration form for people to sign up. I'd love it if you just give me your name and give me your email on that registration form, and then I'll look forward to seeing you when the classes start. You are welcome to hit our website. Our website has a lot of links on it for a lot of information, and there is a spot on our website where you can find out exactly what the classes are. Right now, for this year, we're offering classes alternately each month. One night we'll do evening classes, which is what we're doing for the month of September. And then the next month, so October, will be daytime classes from 9 to 11 in the morning. And we're kind of hoping to just get everyone a chance to come to these classes. If you're not able to come to evening classes, maybe you're able to come to morning classes, and that way we'll be able to provide that education for you as well. We'll see how those things go. Maybe people are more prone to come to an evening class. And then as the year progresses, we'll figure that out and we'll offer them only in the evenings, just depending on what people desire. The classes are free. There's no charge for patients to come and join in our classes. And there are some benefits. We give away some prizes. We have some quizzes, and the winner of those things might get prizes and little treats here and there. So it's fun. It's a fun class to come to.
Cool. If someone's not able to come to a class, or maybe they don't need the class because it's a second delivery, but they want a tour, how would someone schedule a tour of the facility?
So you can call me directly at the hospital. My phone number at the hospital is area code 962-8270. And you can get a hold of me that way. You can leave me a voicemail if I don't answer, and I will try and get back to you. I can schedule appointments to take you on a tour and show you everything about our whole facility. At the end of our classes, the very last thing that we do is take a tour of the facility. So it is part of our prenatal classes, but then we can also set up tours for people who want to come by appointment as well.
That's nice. I haven't really talked about breastfeeding, I guess. I mean, I know you're not the lactation consultant that, is the main one, but do you want to address questions that people might have about breastfeeding, because it is that's covered as part of the class.
Yeah. So in our series of 4 prenatal classes, we do cover a little bit of information on breastfeeding. But then as well, because people normally would like to have a little more detailed information, our lead lactation consultant, Shannon Morgan, is doing breastfeeding classes at the end of our month, each Thursday evenings at the end of the month. And she's offering a lot more detailed information for you to be able to put into practice when your new little one comes. She really is our lead lactation consultant, but we have 2 other lactation consultants that are currently working in our facility as well. So they are all certified and trained lactation consultants. As well, there are others of us who are in the process of doing things towards that to get other certifications so that we can be helping our patients along that line as well.
One of the questions on here, this is more specific to labor and delivery. There's 2 questions. One is it ever too late for an epidural if I change my mind and decide I don't want to labor naturally? And when can I ask for an epidural? How soon can I get it?
Oh, those are great questions. Those were questions that I just had in my prenatal class on Tuesday night. So is it ever too late to get an epidural? Really, the physicians at Nash Women's Center don't say no to epidurals unless it's not safe for mom or baby. If that's your choice for pain management, we'd love to help you get that choice and get that accomplished. And since we have 24-hour anesthesia, most of the time we can. Epidurals are an interesting sort of pain management. Really, at the very end of your labor, if we are really, really close to delivering your baby, and what I mean by you are completely dilated and it's almost time for your baby to be delivered, then you may not get as much relief out of that epidural as you would want to have. Lots of times the epidural is really more appropriate to be started earlier on. It's something that you might want earlier on. Now, if you tell us that you want it, we're going to do our best to help you get it. But you may find that it's something you want early on. The other question you asked me was...
I think you answered it. How soon can I get it, and is it ever too late?
Really, how soon can you get it? That's a decision that you will make as far as when you are ready for your epidural and you feel like you need your epidural and the physician says it's safe to get it. An epidural does not slow labor down. That is kind of a misconception that for a lot of years, a lot of people have had. Really, some of the side effects from epidurals, one of them being lowering blood pressure, and the things we do to keep that from happening, that might slow your labor down a little bit. So our doctors would really prefer that you're in a good active labor pattern before we get your epidural started. That will help you stay on that whole process and complete your labor in a timely manner, safer for you and baby.
What is fetal monitoring?
Fetal monitoring is how we watch your baby and how your baby is reacting to contractions and the contractions and the pain that you're having. And we do that in a number of different ways. Sometimes we do fetal monitoring just doing your pregnancy to observe your baby and what your baby is doing currently. And then we also monitor you while you're in labor. We can do it in a couple of different methods. We have a few different new products that we got with the opening of the Nash Women's Center that all of our nurses learned how to use and are really, really enjoying using. Some of them are a little bit better for women who are a bigger size, kind of like myself. They monitor baby a little bit better. Sometimes we choose other methods, just whatever will help us to know exactly what's going on with your baby and whether your baby is safe during the time that we're laboring you.
Can I take photos or use a video camera after my baby's birth?
You can take photos and you can video your baby the entire time you want. That is completely up to you. What we do ask is that you keep mama's private areas private for her and not be taking pictures of that. But you can take pictures of your baby. You can video your baby anytime you want to. I don't know how you're going to edit that to make that sound good, but...
Yeah, we'll see.
Don't they call that south of the border?
You can say south of the border.
Don't go south of the border with the camera.
Yeah, we could say that.
What have we not covered that you think is important for people to know about either the classes or about the facility?
What have we not covered? It's an exciting time to have a baby in Nash County and the surrounding areas. I think we have got, Nash Women's Center is beautiful, and we built it with our community in mind. It was built and engineered and architected and designed with the patient in mind from top to bottom. So I think it's a great time to have a baby in Nash County. I think maybe if I could go back and have another baby, I might do that. But I just think it's exciting. It's a nice time to be there. Our doctors are fantastic, and they really enjoy taking care of pregnant families and families who are expecting a new little one. All of our nurses love what they do. They are passionate about having babies and helping you get the experience that you want to while they keep you safe. So I think that is an important thing for us to remember about Nash Women's Center, that we are kind of all excited about this new chapter in our lives, and it started with the building of the new Nash Women's Center.
Can you think of anything else?
We're good.
Just go.
Tell me about yourself.
Okay, my name is Jennifer Kendrick. I am the perinatal educator for the Nash Women's Center. So I handle community education. I get to see people in prenatal classes, breastfeeding classes, and all of the new things we've got going on. And as well, I'm responsible for staff development, for teaching nurses and other staff some of the new things that we are learning and putting into practice at the Nash Women's Center. I am a Canadian. I moved down here in the early 90s from Canada, and I've been here ever since. I am married. Can I go there? Sorry. I'm married. I have 4 children of my own, and I live right here in Rocky Mount. I have worked at Nash Healthcare Systems since the year of 2000. I am an experienced labor and delivery nurse. I've done labor and delivery, helping mamas have babies for the last 22 years, and have just recently transitioned into this new position for me. So it's a bit of an adventure to see where this is going to lead. That's probably it.
That's fantastic.
Maybe, you know what's going on.
Okay. I am the mom of 4 babies, so I have had 4 babies myself. I have labored some naturally. I have been induced with some. I have had an epidural with one. I have been without an epidural with some. I have breastfed my own children for about a year apiece, although they're grown now. So I feel like I have seen a lot of those things that people are going to experience in their whole labor and becoming a mom.
Good.
Yeah.
You have to cut out the funny faces.